Sports Center Update.
Good morning, I'm Brian Hall. The Sports Center Update brought to you by Cox's Smokers Outlet and Spirit Shops, Louisville's neighborhood liquor store, now offering curbside service. News broke earlier this morning that University of Louisville wide receiver Tutu Atwell and running back Javian Hawkins were named to the All-ACC team, and the Cards were picked to finish fourth in the ACC, behind Clemson in first, Notre Dame in second, and North Carolina in third. Sticking with football, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear approved U of L's proposal for fans in the stands, but it will be fewer than originally planned, as they will have 20% capacity, which will be about 1,000 fans a game. Western Kentucky's plan was also approved for about 20% capacity, which will be about 5,000 fans at their home games, with 1,000 of those being students. Also in football news, it is still unknown when the Big Ten will start their season, and Sports Illustrated's Pat Forty joined our very own Andy Sweeney on the take yesterday, and he talked about when he thinks the Big Ten may start.
I think they're going to start in January. I've never thought they were going to start in November. I sure don't think they're going to start in October. You know, it's embarrassing. It's stupid. It is just absolutely the stupidest thing I've ever seen a major conference put itself through in terms of not just the leadership void, but then the membership. I think the membership has embarrassed itself.
You can catch that full interview at ESPNLouisville.com. Kentucky Derby Week continues to roll along as today is Oaks Day. We'll have all that coverage for you on our sister station, ESPN 680, starting around 4 o'clock. News broke late last night that there will be another scratch from the Kentucky Derby as well, as King Guillermo pulled out of the race due to a fever. He was scheduled to come out of post 6, and he had 20-1 odds. With the narrowed Kentucky Derby field, WDRB's Rick Bozich joined our very own Andy Sweeney on the take yesterday, and he talked about his expectations for the race.
It's the most one-sided Derby I can remember, really probably since the first year I was here. The first Derby I covered was 1979, Spectacular Bid. And I know that Easy Goer was a 3-5 favorite in '89, but I think Sunday Silence had a lot of support. But this year, I think people will be absolutely shocked if Tis the Law doesn't win.
That full interview can be heard at ESPNLouisville.com as well. In NBA news, former Murray State star Ja Morant was awarded the NBA Rookie of the Year, and he was a single vote shy of being unanimous. Morant averaged 18 points and 7 assists for the Grizzlies in a shortened NBA season. And last but certainly not least, just a reminder that ESPN Louisville is your exclusive home for the Kentucky Derby 146, as well as the Oaks and the Triple Crown. And we'll have all that coverage, like I said, for you today, starting with the Oaks at 4 o'clock. And tomorrow, we'll have all-day coverage starting at 7 a.m. right here on 93.9 The Ville, and going till about 9:30 tomorrow night. Keep it locked here. Middays with Marcus Maben is next. This is Sports Center.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that like Stockton. Just
Welcome back. It's middays with Marcus Maven. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station, people. Temperature control is important, especially in Kentucky with the way the weather changes. Instant temperature control is it's just a fascinating luxury. It's a phenomenal luxury. If you feel the same way, DFH is the company for you. Simply call them at 968-6222 or look them up online at dfhcompany.com. When you're there, check out their Mitsubishi Mini Split for that hard to heat, hard to cool room in your home. Again, 968-6222 or look them up online at dfhcompany.com. Nope. First hour, we talked about a few things: ACC schedule release, ACC early awards for all ACC teams. We took a little time to talk about what would actually make you burn your own Louisville jerseys. Actually, make sure the phone lines are open on that, Brian. 8150-93.9. If you have something that I'm listening. You'll have to actually go into the studio. Oh, okay. Well, so we'll leave that off the tape. You can just take that to Twitter if you want to. I'm a little disappointed. Taco Fall made me look bad last night. You had one job. You couldn't get a deflection on that last play. That was disappointing. Later on in the show, we're gonna replay the Vince Tyree Drew Diener interview that has the details about the seating. Let me ask you this, Steve. 20% for Louisville, 20% for Western, which is the capacities will be what, 12 and 5, if I'm correct. Did you hear what Kentucky's capacity will be? 20%. I mean, did they not have to submit a plan or anything? Or we just don't hear about that? or they just say, whatever you get, Louisville was just one of them. let me let let me ask you this: do you think they're going to have any problem filling those numbers? Uh, uh, mhm. Is does that what does that mean something if they went from the separate packages to being able to get them both? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Uh-huh. So the experience would cost just as much. Mm-hmm. Say without the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, yeah, Rob's right, right. Like I said, when you start doing age demographics and you start, separating for, like, we could come up with a million reasons on the way the market shifts. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like everything else. When you actually see it, then you can experience it. Like, and and see, I'm wondering if a lot of years it probably was turning into a ticket negotiation. I was texting with the Billers last night about it, just kind of thinking about, first of all, you got to see something to really. Second of all, just what you said, feeling like the smallest thing, like you said, like pictures going around, could shut everything down. You know what I'm saying? So that would make me a little hesitant. I mean, not me in particular, but I can see how that makes somebody hesitant to get a package, and then get a game canceled, or something like that. Yeah, and not know a plan about it being, rescheduled. Like, yeah, like, I mean, you hate going down those psychological fear roads, but all of them are, at least a thought in people's minds. Like, because your confidence level, it isn't as high as it normally would be, that you're gonna get, your full value. But I do think once you start seeing things, I think either, I don't know about the secondary market, but I think that stuff will. I think it'll pick up, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. Right. Right. Mm. Yeah. But that's a normal fan. Yeah, and that's a normal fan reaction. Just like, yeah. Okay, so let's shake. Look, just to shake off that emotion, because that oh god, that could leave you with a sick feeling in your stomach too. When you're just like, because you don't want people checking out on in-game experience. Which is just one of those roads I just hate. And by the way, speaking of messing up the game experience, if I was the NBA, and like I said, we're gonna get into the coaching conversation. But here's the thing: there's a video, Steve, of the game-winning shot by Ananobi, right? It's a cell phone video from like the scorer's table, I think. I don't know if it's scorer's table or is the fan side. If I was them, I think I would outlaw sideline footage. Why, do you ask? It's because they have done a good job of making the bubble feel like a stadium. The noise, the piped in crowd, the camera angles that keep you from seeing behind the TVs and stuff like that. So when I see this video, this sideline video, and you can just see like the walls, and you can just see the Raptor. You can see how small the gym is. Like it looks. I'm just like it totally took away my what's the word I'm thinking of? Just my imagination. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, like it's almost like the first time you see it. Yeah, the first time you see your favorite TV show, like Family Matters or something, and they're just, hey, behind the scenes, then you realize, wait a minute, it's not really a house? On the Cosby Show, it was like, wait a minute, when they first do the camera, just panning around the whole studio, I'm like, well, why did you do that? Why would you do that? I hate those TV shows that reveal magic tricks. It makes me sick to my stomach. Right? I'm like, why did you tell me that? Why did you tell me the trick behind that? Yep. I know. I know. Look, you made me think about this, Steve, or you didn't make me. I mean, it just losing the illusion is just not cool. Like I said, the first time I saw, I don't know if you remember, a couple years back, it was like one of those shows where it was just all the magic tricks, secrets revealed, and they showing the how you solved the lady in half and all that stuff. And yes, yes. Oh, but here's the thing, and I want your opinion on this before we get into the coaching part of it. I was down in New Orleans for a family reunion, right? And we went on over to the little boardwalk area, maybe over the border. I don't remember in particular. So we go up to this little booth, right? At one of these, shopping plazas or whatever. So this guy's at this booth. And I'm telling you, man, he right in front of my eyes, and look, it was me and my brother, and right in front of our eyes. And when I say right in front of our eyes, we're talking not even 3 feet away from my face. I watched this guy, this magician guy, right? I watched somebody give him a penny, and he made this penny float right in front of my face. He made it levitate like a saucer. He did it with like a ping pong ball, and it literally floated right in front of my face. I guess I shouldn't really be doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyway because listen, this is what you and I do, Steve. When you mess up something for me, I'm gonna mess it up for you because I don't want to live in this world by myself knowing this, right? And this guy, it was a group of probably 10 people around. And he made this ping pong ball float in front of our faces, and he made this penny that he got from somebody in the crowd, and he made it float. And I'm just like, me and my brother, I cannot believe that I can't figure out how is he doing this right in front of my face. And that guy says, for $20, we'll go back behind the curtain and I'll show you all the secrets. Steve, I paid him $20. I have to know how you made this penny float. Because like I said, you can't, this is impossible for me to be this close to you and you made these things float in front of me. And like I said, he was letting people hold the ping pong ball. He was letting people hold a coin. It was like, okay, here's a penny. Everybody touch this penny. You know what I'm saying? So we're passing the penny to each other to make sure this is not a fraudulent penny or a trick penny or anything, right? So people pass it around. So he locked us in with this magic trick right in front of us. And listen, I told my brother, I was like, listen, you can do what you want to do, but I'm going to stay here and figure out how did he do this, right? So are you waiting for me to tell you how he did this in front of us? And it's just going to it's going to be such a letdown. So people, if you don't want to know, turn off your radios right now. I'll give you about 5 seconds to turn it off if you don't want to know the secret to levitating objects. Steve, invisible string, right? He sells invisible string. It is just so thin, right? But here's the catch to it. You take the invisible string and you basically you silly putty it to like your fingernail, right? And you kind of like run it up the back of your neck, and you let it come down like the string. You can't see it when it goes into your hair. You know what I'm saying? So right in front of you, there's a string that's just hanging down, and it's just so thin, right? And when you hold this, and then basically everybody passed this little penny around, and then he slips the putty, and the putty sticks to the string sticks to the coin, and he holds it right in front of you, and he spins it like like if you were spinning it on a counter or something, right? So and it's hanging down right in front of school, so he's kind of looking down. Like imagine if you had something hanging off your forehead or something, a string attached to it. So he spins this thing, and he just has it looks so stupid. Once I felt so stupid, but I couldn't see it. Of course, I bought the string, right? Of course, I bought the string, right? And okay, so I bought this string, and so later on that night, I'm tripping on it. Later on that night, all the kids are in the dining room. It's kind of like a dim hotel, lobby, big lobby. So all these kids are kind of just kind of mingling around. Is he the basketball player? He's like, yeah, whatever. So I feel in my pocket, I got the ping pong ball and the string. So I'm like, hey y'all, come check this out. These little kids all around, right? Steve, I ended up being the magician of the the magician of the family reunion. And that evening, people were gathered around. And here's the thing: I didn't know how to like work the putty, to make it look all cool, right? So I just laid the ball on the floor, had the little bit of putty on it, and it was just going straight to my hand, right? It wasn't coming, I didn't like string it down my head or anything. But my brother was sitting there like, come on, Marcus, you can do it. You can do it. And I made that ball jump up to my hand. And all these little cousins and nephews and all these kids running around, and they're like, what's going on over there? It's like, hey, oh my God, he just made the ball jump up from the ground. But here's the thing, it was still ruined for me. You know what I'm saying? But all their reaction was awesome, but it was just ruined for me. So my parents didn't know I had this string. So now we're on their car ride home. Steve, I'm trying to learn how to like, be slick with the putty, right? So I'm in the back seat, just messing with the string and the putty and making the ball, spin in front of my nose and doing all this, right? I look up, my dad's looking at me in the rearview mirror, and he says, I'm gonna crash this car if you don't stop that right now. Because he's staring at me in the rearview mirror, and I'm making this ping pong ball float in the back seat, and I'm trying to just like look all cool with it, like, just doing the abracadabra, you know what I'm saying? And my dad, like, in dead serious, he was like, I don't know what you're doing back there, but I'm gonna crash this car if you don't stop it right now. So then we had to tell him what the thing was, but how did I go down that random story, Steve? It's Oaks Day. Yep. It was okay for me to tell a Friday Oaks Day story. So, and anybody that doesn't believe me, you can go right online and look up invisible string and the putty, and it's a kit. And if you got kids and they're still of age where you can make them believe you're the coolest human on the planet, just YouTube it. It's not expensive at all, and the stuff is awesome. And if you get a little slick handed with it, it's one of those, what is it, like party tricks? But yeah, but you're always gonna have some jerk adult. Oh, you got some invisible string? People hate happiness. Let's take our last commercial break. Middays of Marcus Maven on 939 The Ville.
Come here, face me. Right?
Oh man. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Middays with Marcus Maven, 8150. 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. Steve, are you actively looking at that video?
I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm going to.
Listen, and here's the thing: if you look at 30 seconds of that, you'll be able to see where it was just like, what's the phrase? Shut up and take my money.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the most shut up and take my money moment ever. Okay, so a little bit of news came out yesterday, which was going to lead to a conversation, but since we kind of got carried away, or I got carried away with my magician story, it won't be a very long conversation. But here's the thing, Steve. I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm sure you heard the news. Steve Nash named the new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. What do you think about that?
I did.
What do you think about that hire at first glance?
Sure.
I don't.
Right.
But I mean, has he ever coached before at all?
I mean, no, but that. Listen, I know you don't want to go down that road of of qualification stuff, but I was just like saying more or less he and Kyrie Irving, he and Kevin Durant, does it feel like a good fit? Just and this is just Steve Nash that you know from the basketball court, IQ basketball, Steve Nash. You think does it sound like a good fit? Just in kind of like a fantasy league way.
Yeah. I mean, it fit. Yeah, I mean, in that part of it, yeah, I think it does. I mean, because Steve Nash, obviously, you go back, you look at it, and you go, okay, one of the better basketball IQ on the court, minds ever. You think, okay, I mean, he knows the ball. And I will say this: other coaches who have been, Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd, Ty Lue, I mean, the list goes on of guys who have translated over and done good. I mean, some of them better than others. But by the way, Ty Lue I think he's getting the job with Philadelphia. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's enough there to have some hope for it, to think it could be good. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Yeah, I mean,
okay,
whatever.
So with that being said, is point guard the position that transitions to the coach the best?
Probably so.
Okay.
Probably so. Yeah.
Point guard or quarterback? Which positions translate to head coach in your opinion better?
Probably point guard, because point guard, you play both sides of the ball. I mean, you play offense, you play defense, you play everything. Now, quarterback, I will say, you have to understand the defense. So, I mean, it's not a total difference, but yeah, I mean, it's still, it's still kind of one of those deals where it's like, you aren't out there playing. So, and now, of course, I mean, if you're an offensive guy, you just go get a defensive guy. But, yeah, I don't know. I would go point guard. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Hardball's done a good job, I mean, for the most part.
Satterfield,
yeah. Done a good job. You forget how many people probably were quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, yeah, back in the day.
Is your Florida State coach, did he play quarterback?
Yeah, I think Norvell was a quarterback. Yeah. Yeah. So shoot, maybe my points going away. I mean, if you start to think about all the guys who were former quarterbacks back in the day,
just having to know a complete team schemes, offense and defense. I
will say this: I do think football players make better football coaches than basketball players make basketball coaches.
Why is that?
I just because I think there is,
because I've been trying to figure this out for a long time, like thinking, is it okay? Like coaches who didn't really play high level, it's like, do they lack empathy enough to make them better coaches? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Does that make sense? Because here's the thing: like sometimes when I see okay, let's use Coach Mack for an example. Like when I'm trying to figure out what makes good coaches tick, and what makes former player coaches or coaches that never play, like what's the difference? And then I was thinking about like a Coach Mack, like okay, like thank goodness we don't really suffer the same level of I words as another coach, right? So I always wondered, does that make a coach who played more like, what's the word, empathetic? I'm not going to overwork guys this way, I'm not going to overwork guys this way, than somebody who didn't really play high level and just can push the just push these the players to the end of the earth, but not really know how much they're pushing them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. yeah. I mean, that's true. I think though, when it comes to different sports, though, I will say, like, I do think there's a strategy involved in football. Whereas basketball, I think sometimes it's hard. Like, and I think that's where you really get what you're talking about coming in, because I think it's tougher just to say, take your man. No, I'm setting the play up for you just to take your man. Like, yeah, but I physically, coach, can't take my man. Well, you suck then, because I could have took my man. So it's kind of like, I think it's easier. It's easier to do that in basketball.
No, listen. With that, I knew I could never be a coach because of that rule right there. Like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Hey, go get me somebody that can just better.
Yeah, I know. No, I totally get that. But now I will say this: do you want to know what would help you get better? Is to get in the best shape that you possibly could.
Always.
And if you're in the best shape that you could possibly be, like I'm working on doing right now, I was able to get up this morning, go for a good run and stuff. I can accredit a lot of that to Vitality Wellness and Weight Loss. So I want to remind everybody that Vitality is a science-based program, and as you're in your first visit, you go through a complete body scan, and you're assigned a personal specialist that will work with you daily, day and night, answering any questions that you have. And again, Vitality changed my life. I lost a total of 35 pounds in 20 days. So go to Vitality. Well, of course, somebody would, like, who would call me right in the middle of the show? So go to Vitality, Louisville.com, or call 502-442-2117 and let them know you heard about it right here from Steve Rummage in 93.9 The Ville.
Okay. What position in baseball makes the best coach?
Oh, man.
Catcher.
Yeah, I was going to say catcher. That's
catcher.
what I was going to say, too, Brian. I agree.
Because he calls the game pretty much.
Yeah.
As far as pitches and everything.
So you think that position translates the best into being a coach compared to those other ones? Because the catcher does have to know the field a different way. Is
that directed at me? Or?
Yeah, both of you. Does the catcher have a better chance of survival or being a great coach than the point guard or the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, you see a guy like Joe Girardi. I mean, they're the guys that, are in on every play. Like the center and the quarterback are in on every play in football, and the point guard has the ball in his hands every time for that. I mean, it could be a pitcher, but the problem is pitchers have no idea when it comes to hitting. And so the catcher, he handles hitting. He calls the pitches for the pitcher. He sees the whole field. He's the one that has to know the strategy of this guy could potentially steal. They're going to try to get me to throw to second so that this guy can come home, and just different things. And then he keeps the runners also in check in the sense that, hey, if you're kind of lingering out there on first base or third base, he might throw down there every now and then just to kind of keep you interested in the game.
I know he has to know if a pitch is getting tipped or something. That I'm always.
Well, he's usually in direct, I guess, contact with the coaches as well, because he'll look over to the dugout between pitches and be like, what pitch you want.
Okay, so I'm asking you two. I don't know anything about this one. Is it goalie in hockey or goalie in soccer too?
Dude, I have no clue.
You'll have to ask Nick on that.
Does the striker know more in soccer than the goalie?
Yeah, does a jockey make a good horse trainer? I don't know. Yeah. You tell me, buddy.
Does Castellano have a bright future in training?
Right. I mean, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I have no idea here.
Okay, so since we're wrapping it up, Steve, you gotta let me know. Are you Montrezl Harrell had a good performance last game. Looks like he's getting into shape.
Did.
He
did.
Okay, so how are you feeling emotionally? Because it starts kicking in when you start watching him out there and you start watching playoff runs, and then you start thinking about possible championships for former players. Where's your stance right now? As you were watching them, like, totally just blow out the Denver Nuggets. Are they gonna? Look, I heard Barkley. Are they going to win a game?
Probably not. I mean, man, if they do, it'll be one, and that'll be it.
So we're just talking about boring, didn't show up.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a beat down. Honestly, I think the other series is going to be 2, and you're just kind of waiting for that LA versus LA series coming up here in a few weeks. I think that's where we're at on the Western Conference. So, yeah, I mean, of course I'm rooting for Trez. And I loved seeing him play so well last night. I mean, so hopefully he continues it. And it's one of those things where, sure, it'd be nice to see him go on and, get him a ring.
So when it comes game time, you're not going to see him out there with Anthony Davis and start just kind of slowly pulling for him?
No, I don't think so. Maybe, probably. If he has, I don't know. I kind of want LeBron to win. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
So LeBron, that trumps most of your playoff emotion.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's probably where I'm going with that.
Brian Hall, where do you stand on this? Before we hit, listen, do you have that Vince tirade queued up?
Yeah, let me get it ready for you.
Do you have a team in the fight?
Hold on one sec here.
Steve,
we can play this, but we need to do it pretty much ASAP because we got coverage starting at noon for horse races.
Listen, Vince tirade, very, very informative. Great interview. Drew Diener, all the plans for the stadium. That'll do it for this week. Good, strong week. See you on Monday, 10 to 12, middays with Marcus Maven on 939 a bit.
We are pleased because there was definitely news of yesterday about how many fans can attend Louisville
Sorry
games.
about that. I didn't know you were still going to go to it. And I was like, oh, boy, we better get this over with.
Happy Oaks Day as it is, such as it is. Vince, good morning.
That was my fault.
Good morning,
we're
Drew.
good.
Yeah,
because I just got to be out by noon,
but
it's gonna finish like right at noon.
I am too. Well, let's get down to
all right,
the matter that most fans who have interest in
later.
attending games want to know about. You guys got, I guess, to 12,000 fans is going to be the max rather than the 18,000 you were hoping for.
Yeah, I think, we tried to use the ticketing technology we had for social distancing that, some other schools have used as well. And that's where it kind of derived our original number. But I think after submitting our plan and getting some comments back, we've now had to revise it down to 12,000.
When did you finally get word back of your plan?
It was really middle. I guess it was more early middle of this week, just making sure we were confirmed, because when you get comments back, we want to make sure they're definitive so we don't have to start-stop.